Yes, to everyone, it's Ada from Poison Rock, and we have to really. I have the honor to have with me Jimmy Waldo from Alcatrazz. I have to say something more. I mean, I can even just introduce yourself, and people would know. First of all, how is going, Jimmy?
It's good. Everything's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a I don't know a big moment, but it's there is this new release of this amazing and beautiful song that literally made the thing the history of the music. It's been covered and covered and covered by generation of musicians.
Wow.
So
That's a real compliment just in itself. That's great.
yeah, of course. Well, like, why do you choose like to just let's say reopen 2025 this song and it's a re-recording, so put it available to everyone again. It's something in change. You put something new, like maybe some the of course the equipment is different nowadays.
Uh, Really, it's Giles Lavery, the singer. I
Okay.
mean, that's the biggest difference, obviously, because
Okay.
that's Alcatrazz now, and we've done over 100 shows with Giles, so we're in the groove with him, and it's working out great. So we we thought about it before. We thought, we're getting ready to tour, but nobody's the people at the live shows hear him, but we want to introduce him on record. So we thought the best way to do that is to
That's a beautiful.
re-record, re-record some of those songs.
Okay.
So that's what we did. And so that's the main difference. We didn't rearrange anything or really change any musically, change any parts or anything.
But that's a beautiful, like, also way to just put it like one of the classic out there, like because just with a new recording, it's not that you put a new song with a new riff. It's just the same song, just to give it also welcoming. It's I found it really beautiful, and why like the choose went straight forward to Island in the Sun instead of I don't know, could have been other songs that I mean you have such a it's like when I don't like that it's but just those songs that are pillar in your music.
Right. Well, if I understand your question, I
Yeah.
mean, we have other songs.
Okay.
We are releasing other songs off that first album.
Oh,
Uh,
beautiful. Yeah.
with Giles singing. A lot of the several songs off No Parole from
Wow.
Rock. And we're doing we did some re-recordings. We put Giles on some recent albums that we did with
Okay.
Doogie White. And we replaced Doogie with Giles. So he's on some of those recordings as well. And then there's going to be a new song
One
uh,
new song.
yeah, we've written a new thing, so that'll be out with these recordings. Like there'll be a CD pressed for
Okay.
these,
Island of
but
the Sun itself.
yeah, and there'll
Okay.
be all these songs will be on that CD.
So
So
they could have a taste of his voice and everything in with the old lyrics, the most famous one of the first album, No Parole for Rock
yes,
and Roll, but also something new, so with his own influence in it. So some new music from Alcatraz we're gonna hear.
yeah, it'll be one song,
One
and
song.
then we're working on a brand new record right now.
That's
We're
that
writing for a new record though, so which is completely separate from the re-releases.
of
Uh,
course the re-release is just a kind of warming up, let's say. Warming
Yeah,
up.
exactly. Warming up and introducing Giles basically
Yeah,
on
of
record
course.
so that
Yeah, of
people
course.
can really get a sense of what we sound like now.
Yeah.
And like I said, we've done over 100 shows in the United States and Europe and stuff, but and it's gone great. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's really been a lot of fun, and Giles is a lot of fun to tour with. Um, he's real easygoing. He's a real pro, and the shows have gone real smooth, and we've had a ball doing it. Uh, but we needed to get him recorded, so
Yeah, of course,
that's what
that is
this was
also.
all about. but we're
Yeah,
writing for a new record right now. So Giles and I and Joe Stump
yeah,
are
just to,
are
yeah.
doing the writing for a new one.
And of course, as I read also in there was gonna be also a tour with the girls' school in November. Am I right?
Yes,
So you're
yes.
not gonna stop. So between that's a European tour, yeah. And David Rees from Bangalore Chuar, I love that band also. These are bands that I like. People of not there are people that love this music, but for example, even Bangalore Chuar are one of those bands that were so underrated and they deserved so much more out there. There are so many bands. That's my music. So that's all of it.
Oh
My
gosh,
music.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I couldn't live without this music. I don't
yeah.
like it.
I
Yeah.
I love touring. We love touring with Girls School. We've toured with them a lot, and they are they're fun people, and they're the coolest people. They're the nicest people, and they're very professional. And it's just it's so much fun
Yeah.
to tour with them because the gigs are so easy with
So,
them. Whether sometimes we open for them, sometimes they play in the
there,
middle.
yeah,
Uh,
there's not
and
like,
there's no egos at all.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
'cause they go, they'll say, we'll say, well, who's going to headline tonight? And they'll go, oh, you guys headline tonight because we'll get to the hotels earlier if we open the
That's
show.
so
We'll
sweet.
and we just
Yeah,
goof. It's just a goof like that. And then we'll argue about, no, 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 no. You guys headline because we want to get to the hotel earlier.
yeah, that's
So, it's crazy. We really have a good time on the road with them.
and I
So
think, yeah.
these shows coming up are going to
Yeah,
be
yeah, because
a
there's
lot of
someone
fun.
in Belgium, Germany, Austria, Czech Republic. There's a little bit in Euro in the central part of Europe. But also this shows, there's a beautiful friendship between all of you as a band.
Yes.
Because of course this could happen. It was like two strangers, but it shows that is a chemistry and good of friendship, I think. And that's what the fan, the audience, what they love to see from the crowd when
Yes.
between musicians and different bands there is a you can feel it, the chemistry, because sometimes maybe there is one member of the other band joining the stage, even maybe taking some photos, joking it, the fan perceive that. And I
Yeah.
think that's what people can expect going in this live upcoming I mean it's in November, but this upcoming show. But did you have something booked for the summer, like as a Alcatrazz, or just is the moment for composing it right now?
This summer,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, there's nothing.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, we're be working on the record this summer,
Okay.
and Giles and I'll be doing some Warlord shows
Okay.
in. Actually, there's a festival we're playing in Italy
Really?
with Judas Priest. Yeah,
Oh, it's
but that's
awesome.
Warlord.
I have to
Uh,
check it out. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Giles was singing with them years ago. So when they did a new record, um, and Giles and I played on it, and so I just thought I was just going to play on the record, and Giles of course sang, and but they were all Bill's
Yeah.
from Warlord, his demos that we put back together, blah 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 blah. So
Yeah.
anyway, we'll be doing some of that this summer. I'm going to Germany this month on the
Okay.
for a couple of weeks, where we'll do some shows in Germany, but we're doing that festival in Italy, and I don't know the name of the the
I'm
town.
gonna check it out and gonna put it on the box of YouTube, because of course if there are people from Italy, for sure they're gonna come to see. Of course, it's
Right,
good to know at least.
right, right.
That's also beautiful things. And of course, like, so let's say that now at the moment is just working on a new album that's gonna of course highlight and show kind of this new would say don't want to say turning point, but this new, like with Giles, with new every musician has its own influence. We are all different human beings, so
Yes.
his own print, let's say. So, of course, what can we expect? I don't want to say nothing about the new album because we leave that for later. But what can fan can expect?
What can you expect? On the new record,
Yeah,
or
exactly, the new record, like
oh,
something that you can say for creating a little bit of suspense for the fan.
well, it's it'll be in the vein of No Parole from Rock and Roll, because
Okay.
that's our foundation, and we stick to that. We don't change. We're not trying to rewrite history, or you know,
No,
we don't care about being like, oh, we gotta have a new sound.
it's
That's what we do. That's what we're comfortable with as a keyboard
okay.
player. That's what I love doing. So, and Joe Stump is a guitar player. That's him. So, and Giles loves that music. So
That's beautiful when
it's
you're
just a
gonna
real
say that.
natural, everything we'll be writing, it'll still be similar to that first
Yeah,
record.
and also you
And
have, I mean, you're not like like the first band that has to just start together. You have literally your professionists in the scene. You're all professionist professional musician, so you know how does it work in in the business, in the stage and touring, just
yeah,
so I think it's gonna become spontaneous, everything. And already, like you said, you performed live, so there's already the chemistry and everything. So
yes,
this island in
yes,
the sun is kind of a way to say to the people, this is
yes.
our homage, kind of our welcoming to Giles, and also you can hear something new. And what can you say about this new song that's gonna be in this
Uh,
record releasing?
New song is Giles wrote it, and then
Okay,
I've written parts of it, and then Joe Stump
okay,
he'll end up writing some stuff in there. We're extending some
okay.
sections, doing that kind of thing. But basically, Giles wrote the melody and lyrics, and that's where it all started. Um, it's it's going to sound like Alcatrazz. I mean, it's going
Yeah.
to be, you know, yeah, it'll be right in the same vein as everything else we do. I don't, it's when Joe and I are writing, playing together, and Giles, it can only go one way.
It's
We only do we do one thing, and we're not trying to, like I said, we don't want to reinvent the
no.
band. We're not trying to prove that we can do something new or anything like that. It's just, this is just what we do. And
Exactly.
it's new because it's a new record. It'll be a new
Of course.
record.
But it's
And
gonna be
they'll,
a good sound.
but yeah, that's just what we do. So
I mean, like, because I think that we always need it. It's like always. There is gonna be always, I think, something new, a little bit, some like a little bit. Of course, the
yeah,
time change, that technology changed. So of course, there's this
yeah,
different. If I would hear No Parole for Rock and Roll back in the days, from now,
right.
I think it's gonna be different. Also, the sound, but let's say the sound just in the mastering and then mixing, but the rest is just your soul. It's you guys. It's just Alcatraz
Yes.
soul,
And
Alcatraz sound. You created your own sound. It's like saying that, I don't know, Judas Priest or Iron Maiden, they make new song. No, it's that sound. That's the print. That's your print in history, in music history.
you're exactly right. It's like the
Yeah.
technology changes, and that all plays a part in what the record sounds like. And then as we write, we it's different influences seep in, but I also have old influences. So every record, I think about things that I wanted to do before,
Okay.
and I do them. And this record,
And it's for everybody.
it's the same thing. Instruments, or the way I'm playing or whatever. I think, oh, I want to do some of that this time. I want to do it this way. And so you just evolve as a player.
Ah, it's
But
beautiful.
our home is Alcatraz, is
Yeah.
that sound. It's not,
And of course,
we
yeah.
don't vary too much out of that.
I mean, of course, as a musician, I mean, I don't want to say you know that you are really very well known in the music scene. But of course, I would like, that's something that for me is always important, is understand the background of every musician, because I think that when you play, it could be a keyboard, a drum, or I don't know, and you put your own soul in it.
Right.
But who is behind it? How you got it there? Like how you were able to put those melodies, like for even in Island in the Sun in that moment, because that's I think a result of your adolescence, of your life, of your family influence. So that's why I always ask to the musician. It's important
You're
because they get to know who is the. What about your musical background as a musical
you're
instrument?
exactly but you're exactly right. All that stuff over the years
Yeah,
seeps in like Island in the Sun, for instance.
yeah.
I wrote that music before Alcatrazz was formed.
Okay.
I had a band called New England, and
Okay.
I wrote that for New England, and we never used it. The band broke up before we used it,
You.
but that kind of playing or that kind of writing, that's just me. That's a part of me that I love to do, and I was doing that years before that.
For Alcatraz.
I don't know where that came from. I mean, stylistically, I'm not sure, but it's been in me for a long time, and I still I still it's still there. I mean, I still play like that. Um,
Yeah.
and it's I don't know where it comes from. I mean, I'm not a schooled musician.
Yeah.
Uh, I didn't study. I took some piano lessons, early on,
Okay.
but not much. Um,
It
so
was
it's mostly from just experiences and playing in bars, for
that
years
was
ago.
that
And
that was one of the
see,
most beautiful era for performing in venues back in the days.
yeah, because what we would do, the band would, back in those days, the band would be rehearsing and we'd think, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But you play in front of people, that sort of tells you what to do and what not to do. So
Exactly.
some of our ideas, we'd be like, oh boy, that's not working. We shouldn't have done that. So as a keyboard player, I kind of learned the hard way, so to speak,
Yeah.
like everybody did. All musicians go through the same thing. Um, you sort of see what works and what doesn't,
You're
and
completely
also it
right.
told me what the best thing for me to play, not try to be something I'm not. So I'm classically influenced, but I don't read music really. But I love classical music, so that's where a lot of that comes from. Island in the Sun,
A lot of
there's a classical thing in there, influence. And but growing up as a kid, I listened to a lot of classical music, and I just loved it. And I listened to everything. I mean, I grew up on the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and the Beach Boys, and
yeah.
loved all of that. But while I was listening to them and starting to play, I started on guitar and a little bit of
Yeah.
piano. Yeah, but I was still listening to classical music and opera. I love opera.
Yeah,
So,
we forget
so
sometimes. Yeah.
I just love opera. So I don't know a whole lot about it, but I just know what I like, and that seeps in to my influence somehow. I don't even know how, but
But
I
it's
love.
important. Yeah.
And it's always there. It's always I think
Yeah.
of there's certain operas, that like wow, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know much about it. I don't know though,
But that
but
hits you in the core, and then yeah.
it's all in there somewhere, and it
Yeah,
all.
I got it. Yeah, and also it's I think it's beautiful also to show that to the fan, to the listener of Alcatraz, that maybe new teenager that will find out the band, because they always think that if a band that's rock roll, hard rock, something metal, they just only listen to that genre. No,
Yeah.
I think it's like that. Like maybe they think that you're gonna listen. I don't know, Led Zeppelin, of course. But you see, see if someone is making metal, they think they listen only for example, Judas Priest. No, they could.
Yeah,
Yes, of course.
growing up, I grew up in West Virginia,
Okay.
so that was a lot of. It was what they call. It wasn't. It was like kind of country music almost. Mountain music,
Yeah.
and so I started to learn to play guitar with my friends who were into that stuff. So I was learning songs, like that. And that was my first introduction to actually playing music. I'd been listening to classical music and opera and the Beatles and all that stuff, but starting to play some of the early stuff I played was
Was in the folk
was
style.
folky, kind of country
Yeah,
folky, yeah, bluegrassy,
bluegrass.
what,
Yeah, I got. Yeah, yeah.
so
Exactly.
that's in there somewhere,
Yeah,
and I've done other records of world music where I've traveled to different parts of the world
that's
and,
interesting. Yeah.
worked with I worked with Hassam Ramsey, this Egyptian percussionist. He and I did several records together, and that was all
Beautiful.
Middle Eastern, Egyptian based. We used singers. I
Yeah.
went to Cairo and spent weeks in Cairo.
I'm in Sicily. You could have just hi, you could have seen shot. I'm from Sicily, so I'm just can see through the no, 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 we are not so close, you know that there is all the Mediterranean Sea separating us. But
Right.
I got it that the sound that you're meaning, the vibes, the sound, it's a kind of it's world music. Some
Yeah.
people call it tribal, but it's not tribal. It's a world music.
No, it's exactly what it was. The records
Yeah,
we put out, the projects I did that came out did really
yeah.
well, and they're in the world music category because we were using singers for the first world music record I did. I went to Kathmandu for a month, and we recorded Nepali singers and Tibetan singers and together and separately, and we recorded percussion and all the instruments. So I got introduced to all of that.
It's a
For
completely another world from Alcatrazz.
it's a whole nother, yeah, it's
Yeah.
another world. And then after that, I went to, like I said, I went to Cairo and worked with
Yeah.
Hassam Records a couple of times and spent a lot of time over there working with him, doing uh, more Egyptian, Middle Eastern
That's
uh, melodies and things, working with singers and stuff, but using different beats and grooves,
okay.
sometimes rock grooves underneath all that. So, yeah, I've been exposed to all
Different
kinds
thing.
of stuff.
And of course,
Yeah,
like, of course, you like, because of course, just, I mean, this, in, let's say, doing world music, then you start like with a, let's say, with listening to the opera and the classical music. So you got this type of influence that you played yourself, like, just to starting that to approach music. You played the kind of a bluegrass country folkish music. But then you went like you were the Alcatrazz, complete another. Don't want to say another world because all came from the country music and the bluegrass, just an evolving of it. But then
yeah,
you explored at this, I think now with your experience, the world music. And once I talk and interview this musician, I don't know if you know him, is a guitarist called Estas Tonnet. He traveled the whole world and is a world music guitarist. He make flamenco,
right.
only but world really music. He's from
Oh, I love flamenco guitar
he's an
playing.
amazing. He was
Yeah,
playing in the street in New York, but he filled the arena. He's a big, big musician. He's one of the, I think, the biggest guitarist so far by now in the world music. So when you see his music, you see everyone going from the metal scene, rock scene, punk, pop, opera.
yeah,
So, and when I interview him, he asked to me like, what does it bring you to introduce someone from the world, music style, and not someone from the rock? So I want to ask you, like, how does it feel to be from the rock scene, hard rock scene, like such as the Alcatrazz? So we are speaking about an icon of music. To go and write yourself and compose yourself another really world of music, quote unquote.
yeah. For me, it's real easy because if I like something, I like it. And if I like working with somebody, so I have a very close friend of mine that I've worked with
Okay.
in rock and world, and we've done the world music records together. Uh, if it's good, it's good, and if it's a cool groove, I like it. I can create other grooves, then that's fun. Playing differently is fun for me. And working with other people like that is fun. My heart is into heavy rock.
Yeah.
I grew up, after I really started getting a band together as a kid, it was all about, well, it was the Beatles, but I leaned towards heavier bands like The Who. The Who
Yeah.
were my heroes,
Amazing. Yeah.
because that had energy and this
Um,
what I call this reckless abandon thing. You know, that there's like they didn't give a shit. They went for it and they were in
exactly.
your face. And I love that. So that
Yeah.
had a big influence on me. And that's my heart is always
Mhm.
there. So Alcatrazz, that's really where my heart is
Yeah, of course.
and has been for 40 years,
Yeah, I
whatever.
mean, it's like I said, it's one of those bands that literally already left a print in the music scene, and you can go to anywhere that listen rock, hard rock, heavier rock, and if you mention Alcatraz, they're not gonna say who. Of course, they're not. They're gonna say at least one song. When you see those live show playing if you do a live show, a festival, maybe people they one song they're gonna listen for sure because they knew it that
Right.
song. It's
Right.
and because I think it's like one of those timeless band, and I wish there could have been more because there were so many beautiful band. But I mean, I want to ask, which is the secret of longevity? Because you're still here doing amazing music, not said you didn't disappear from the scene, which is a beautiful. I wish there were so. Which is your secret, the Alcatraz secrets for longevity?
Um, Well, to be honest, all the touring I've done over the years with, like New England toured a lot, and we put out records. We had some success and stuff, and uh, I don't know. I never got into drugs,
That's
and
important. Yeah.
I drink. I like to
Yeah.
drink, but not that much. And I got out of that. I don't drink much at all anymore because when I'm working, I can't drink. So I don't drink when I play or when I'm writing or recording. If I'm relaxing a day off or something, I'll
Yeah.
have a couple of beers. But
What's wrong?
I
It's just
think
relax.
that has a lot to do with it because I have friends that we started at the same time and they were
Okay.
more talented than me, some of them, but they developed bad habits and
For
they got distracted. They got into doing drugs and drinking and stuff, and they got distracted musically. It changed their musical things. So
exactly, and
they didn't
they
stay focused,
yeah,
and
yeah, and
I have
yeah,
been like, I wouldn't say I've been really focused, but it's just natural for me. This is what I do, and nothing without because I haven't had problems with drugs or alcohol. It's nothing's been in my way
yeah.
to
It's
to
important,
stay focused on this. So
and that's why I think you always had this career that never stopped, and then you have to bring it up again, and then you have to bring it up again. It was just smooth. I mean, of course, everyone has, you stop for a little while. I mean, it's called life, life going on. Life doesn't stop. Everyone, that's life.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
saw musician, like that are really low, like I was like literally listening. Maybe they were a smaller band than Alcatraz, but they were super talented and I so energetic. And then maybe I got the chance to meet them like now that you can see that all these access from the 80s 90s like alcohol and drugs had a big impact on their life, and maybe they're trying to come back now, but of course it's not easy as before. When you were at the time and the whiskey go time, it was a different time being, it was a different story, it was a different scenario, it was easier. But now
yeah,
that it's, people can follow you because they are fan. But if you put new music out, it's not going to be easy also to have all the people together. Like, for example, it's Alcatraz releasing new music. You know that you have your own following since, like you said, 40 years by now. And I said, my dad is still my vinyls of Alcatraz.
oh my God,
it's a,
wow,
it's a
that's cool.
because I mean, my dad grew up with Pink Floyd, White Snake,
Yeah, hey, yeah, yeah,
and of
I
course
did
when
too.
yeah, and
I
all
love
those,
Pink
yeah,
Floyd.
and all those progressive Italian rock we have. So of course, when he started to introduce me to that music, and I started to have Alcatraz music, Whitesnake, Danger Danger, all these bands. My dad was like, "Oh,
Right.
let me listen. This. Oh, this is more like my sound than yours. Yours more rock and roll.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mine is more." And I think it was the keyboard that grabbed my dad towards your music.
Right. Well, that's good.
Yeah,
Uh, I remember years ago listening to PFM, the Italian,
yeah, of
that
course.
Italian prog
Amazing. Yeah, they are
band.
amazing.
I haven't listened to them in years, but I remember when they first came out, I was like, wow. Because
Yeah,
at the time I was into Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Palmer, exactly, exactly.
So when I heard PFM, I just thought, because you get this thing in the United States, you start think if you don't know, you don't
Exactly.
realize there's other parts of the world where there's bands doing similar things. You think of
Exactly.
Italy, you think, oh, there's no bands in Italy doing this. But when I heard PFM, I was like, oh
They
my
are,
God.
yeah, and still today they are one of the most big band. They're still going to kick all the asses out, and I think
Oh,
there's no bigger band of them today in Italy,
right,
especially in
right.
here. But of course, before ending, coming back to Island in the Sun.
Uh-huh.
So, which is the official date of release for people grab the copy. I think the pre-order are open for grabbing the copy. The pre-orders are open. That they can pre-save the album.
You mean when's the CD coming out
Yeah,
or yeah.
when it will be released.
I'm not sure what the release date is, to
Okay,
be honest. Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna write it down.
I kind of get I'm working on other stuff,
Okay,
Alcatrazz stuff. So, and I'm rehearsing for touring and stuff like that.
so it's gonna
So
be so
you tell me a
exhausting.
release date and I go, "Oh, great." And then it's like,
But
okay,
of course, I mean,
it's
people can go also on your website and just they can see all the news.
yes.
They can take their
Yes.
own copy before, so when it's out, they already have it. I think it's gonna be
Yes.
digital copy of it, of course,
Yes.
and then
Digitally,
physical.
it's out now. I mean, you could go download it now or
Yeah,
stream it now.
yeah,
But yeah, the CD will be out soon. I know that.
yeah.
Maybe July was the release
Okay.
date.
So
I
I'm gonna
honestly,
write it down. Don't worry. Just I'm gonna write it down. And also, people get that, and they're gonna have the chance to see Alcatraz in Europe next November. But if they want to see you, they have this tour, this festival in Italy. So I'm gonna write it down too. So,
okay.
so there's
Uh,
and a new soon record of Alcatraz, let's say. So we leave the fan with this work, with this kind of waiting for the new record.
I'm sorry. I
So, like
missed.
I said, we leave the fan to with this new with the with the suspense of the new record upcoming when it will be released in the future. So we leave
Right.
just a little of suspense to the fan, like to wait for the new album of Alcatraz to be out.
Yeah. And we're working on that right now. We're writing
Yeah,
for that right
exactly.
now. And I'll go to Boston and work with Joe. And he and I he and I have a lot of fun working together. So I go to his house and his studio and we work and
Yeah.
write and record. Um, so we're on it, and
Yeah,
I don't.
so I'm looking forward to hear it. And of course, when there's gonna be the full announce, everything was gonna be set, we have to do an updating interview. So we're gonna see exactly, we're gonna talk more
Hey,
in depth about the album, the new material, and maybe also bring Giles on it. So we have the new perspective from him.
yeah,
It was
yes.
really an honor, Jimmy, meeting you
Oh,
because really you are one of the Alcatraz are one of the most influential band in my life, I have to say.
wow.
And I have to
That's
thank Michael for the promoting for allowing me to do this. So thank you, Michael. And looking
Thank you so
forward.
much. I really appreciate. I don't know. To me, this is it's really cool that people want to interview me. So and want to know about Alcatraz. So I'm honored that you wanted to do this. I mean,
Yeah,
because
it's a
you've you've
history. It's the
you've done
history.
tons of bands, that are bigger than Alcatraz, and so I really appreciate it.
I
And
mean, I grew up listening, hearing Alcatraz everywhere. So when I start to listening, I said that I have to just and I have my vinyls in that place. Next time I'm gonna put the vinyls behind me of No Parole for Rock and Roll. It was the first one, of course. It's a classic. It's a classic.
we play a lot of that. We play Island in the Sun live. We've been playing that
Yeah,
since forever. So we play a lot of that stuff off of No Parole live, and
beautiful.
it's so much fun. I
Yeah.
love music, you know, and Yngwie Malmsteen wrote some of that, and he and I wrote some
Yeah.
together. Island in the Sun, I wrote the music for that, but Yngwie, I have great, every time I play it live, I have great memories of working with Yngwie. And
Yeah.
because he was, you know, a lot of people think we didn't get along and all that stuff. Yngwie and I got along great.
Yeah.
We had so much
It's
fun
fun.
together.
Those are
We had
beautiful.
our moments, you know, there were moments
It's
like
always
with
happen. It's
everybody.
human beings. It's life.
We had disagreements or whatever, but generally, Yngwie and I always had a laugh.
Beautiful moment.
We go to a bar and we drink beer and just laugh. You
Yeah.
know, we had
That's
fun.
beautiful.
So
That's a beautiful
that
moment.
brings back when I play the stuff live,
Great. Okay, you
and
got this
I'm
beautiful
looking
memory.
across the stage at Joe, and I can see
Thanks.
Yngwie over, you know,
Yeah, that's
because
beautiful.
we toured.
Thank
So
you
yeah,
for thank you for
it's really
sharing that. And
oh,
see you soon in the next interview before Zoom cut us as usual. So thank you so
yeah.
much, Jimmy. Well, it was
Oh,
an honor and talk
welcome.
really
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.
Make your move. Let the power